Good evening and welcome to Music from India. This is Harish Saluja.
He's a radio co-host,
What I would like to do is have a tracking shot.
filmmaker, and he also runs the Asian arts and culture organization Silkscreen. Harish Saluja is an artist in every sense of the word.
Everybody finds their bliss in life. They figure it out, whether it's, climbing Mount Everest or, doing social work. I cannot imagine life without creating.
Creating is something Harish has always enjoyed, even as a child in India.
Must have been 5, was given crayons to draw with. And I think it was in grade 1, I found out that I came first in my class, in art class. And I still remember my teacher very proudly telling me how good an artist I was. And I'm sure she said that to everybody, but I believed her and continued to paint.
And paint he did throughout his teenage and young adult years, but deciding on a career in the arts wasn't easy. Harish grew up in a family of successful doctors and professors, and in college he studied engineering. Once out of school, though, he chose to live his life in America, doing the things he loved the most.
I think the influence of my mother, who was very much artistically inclined, and a musician herself and a writer, that I found extreme joy and solace in things artistic, whether it was reading, writing, poetry, music, particularly painting.
But Harish will tell you becoming a recognized artist wasn't easy. When he arrived in Pittsburgh in the early 1970s, he fell on tough times until he took a job with a technical magazine publishing company.
I started as the junior most person. In 4 years, I was running the company. And 2-3 years later, I became a partner and owned it, and I stayed there for almost 30 years.
All the while, though, Harish found time to paint and even exhibit his work. To this day, and despite his successes as a radio announcer on WESA Radio and an award-winning producer-director for movies like The Journey, painting remains his foremost passion. The walls of his home, just south of Pittsburgh, are filled with his colorful pieces.
So this is one of my favorite paintings.
Some of it are reminders of the place he was born and raised.
I told you about a school I went to in the Himalayas, 7,500 feet above sea level, and it was a very exclusive school, and it has a lake. The place is called Nainital, and the lake is so pristine and so beautiful. So if you look carefully, you're looking at a lake, you're looking at birds. I decided, instead of painting any particular thing, just capture the feeling of the color of the lake and the reflections of the lake, and that's what it is.
This abstract way of painting Harish adopted while he was in his mid-20s. It was a shift from the traditional landscapes, figuratives, and portraits he once painted.
It falls under the category of abstract expressionism, which I still think was one of the most beautiful times after the Impressionists in the world, and was American, Jackson Pollock and Franz Klein and others like that. Beautiful, beautiful work, not enclosed by traditional ideas, not suppressed by how the color should look like, but exploding. Like Jackson did, my work is generally interpretation of certain themes.
Things, strangely enough, like music. It's a continual theme in his paintings.
So I did a whole series of abstract expressionist paintings on classical music. I did Mozart series and Bach series. Most of those paintings are gone and sold and so forth. Then I did jazz series. They tend to be more metallic and with brighter, more primary colors. This is how I hear jazz. This is how I see jazz. And then I did the Indian Raga series, music series, which got very, very good reviews, New York Times and everywhere else.
Some of these paintings he featured in an exhibition of his work in 2011 called Progression.
We were debating as to what we should show, and so we could not put all of it because we didn't have any Bach and Mozart series paintings left. But we did have a couple of Raga series paintings. So we put 2 Raga series, Indian music series paintings there. We did some mandala paintings. Buddhists have been doing this for 2,000 years. And then I did a series of some back to figurative work, which I had not done since the 60s, which was the Hindu deities.
Also showcased in the exhibit, his miniature collection, a total departure from the large-scale paintings he typically paints.
And that's a whole new world. 3-inch by 5-inch intricate paintings, which I did with the mixed media, with markers and oil markers and watercolor markers and so on. So the progression was my progression over the years as an artist.
Watching this artist work is indeed an experience. He has a nervous energy that he channels onto canvas, but not just one canvas, 8 to 10 canvases, all being worked on at the same time.
I generally walk into my studio with absolutely no plans at all. What I'm thinking about are my problems. Then I get up after a few minutes and I start mixing paint, whatever I feel like, and then I start applying it. An hour, 2 or 3 later, I find that I have gone into the studio troubled with all these headaches and burdens, and I've come out joyous and my heart calm and tranquil.
Which helps, as now in his mid-60s, Harish is dealing with the diagnosis of an unsettling disease. He has prostate cancer, for which he is receiving treatment. But instead of being distraught, he's more focused and more determined than ever before.
I've totally cut out all negative people from my life. I do not do negative things anymore. I've canceled most of my meetings. I only take the ones which are good for society, which bring me joy, bring them joy, or I can help them, and so forth. There are so many encounters we have which are primarily wasting of time. And it's wonderful because it totally relieves me from all those pressures.
And that way of thinking has left Harish with an unexpected peace of mind.
What I want to do is continue putting paint on canvas and see what comes out. I particularly want to do abstract expressionist landscapes, for example. I want to do more of those. I want to do some mandala paintings and so forth. I do want to be able to do at least 1 or 2 films if possible, and there's a very interesting book I'm writing which I would like to finish. But I'll take it as it comes. But these are the immediate goals which I have, which seem possible and achievable.